All right, everybody. Today we're going to be working inside of Scratch. We're going to show you how to make a new Pong game. So just a reminder, you can get to this screen when you're on the Scratch homepage. You hit Create. If you're over here, you just hit that Create right there, and it'll get you to a new project. So in your project, make sure the first thing to do is you want to probably name your project, and then you hit the Share button. When you hit the Share button, that means other people can now see it. And for example, me as your teacher, I can actually look at it and grade it and things like that. Once you hit that Share button for the first time, it'll take you to the project page here. And then you can add it to Studio. So you click Add to Studio, click on whatever studio it is that you need, and you hit OK. All right. To go back to your project, hit C and sign. Now, tutorials. They're up here, little light bulb. We'll click on that. Scroll down a little ways. 10th one down, you'll find the Pong game. There's a little intro video. We'll show you how to do stuff as well. I'm going to go ahead and skip that video right now. I'm going to dive right into the first tutorial, which is adding a backdrop. So I can scroll down here. I can choose a backdrop, or I can actually also just surprise myself. I could upload a picture as well, or paint my own. I'm just going to surprise myself right now. Ooh, the blue is kind of boring. Let's surprise me with something different. Oh, nice. Okay, we got a nice beach. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my cat here. I'm just going to X this cat out. I don't want my cat for my Pong game. The second step of this tutorial is to add a ball. So I'm going to choose a sprite. In this case, I'm going to use that little magnifying glass. I'm going to click on a ball. And now I'm going to code my ball. So to add the code in, what I'm going to do is there's different color blocks here. They coordinate with colors over here in these dots. So the first one is when green flag is clicked. It's in this yellow events block here. There it is, when green flag is clicked. I can drag that in and drop it. Next is point in direction 45. And we can come up here. You see that point in direction? We're looking for that. It's going to be right there. We got 45. Okay, perfect. Next, light orange, we have control blocks. We're going to go forever. And go to motion. We're going to move 15 steps. There we go. I'm going to double click on that, change that to 15. And then if on edge, bounce. I have to scroll down a little bit in the motion blocks. There it is. Okay, next part of the tutorial. We're going to add a paddle. That is this one down here. These are like your PNG files. You can, again, upload one. You can surprise yourself. You can paint one, or you can just choose one. I'm going to choose one because I already know there's one called paddle. There it is. Now that I have my paddle in, I can start coding it. Which so far, if I hit the green flag, I have a ball that bounces around so far, but my paddle doesn't move. So to move my paddle, I need to follow this code here. In my yellow events, I make sure my paddle is selected here, by the way. Don't make sure you're not doing this inside the ball. For this section, do it inside the paddle. When green flag is clicked, control, forever. We want this to always be true. Dark blue versus light blue. Dark blue is motion, light blue is sensing. So set X2 is under motion. Make sure it's not set Y, make sure it's set X. There's two that are very similar, set X, set Y. So we want set X, drop that in. It says set X to 2. We're going to switch that to mouse X, which is light blue, which is in our sensing. Okay, down in our sensing here, we got mouse X. I'm going to click and drag this in. You see how it makes that little circle turn white? Drop it. There it goes, locks in. Next. We want to test this out. Hit the green flag. Make sure your ball bounces off your paddle is the next thing that we're going to need to do. I have a ball that moves. I have a paddle that moves, but they don't touch each other yet. So the next thing we're going to do is go back to the ball and then code in this next section, which is yellow flag or yellow events when green flag is clicked, forever, if touching paddle. So if blank, then something else happens. And I'm going to drop it inside the forever block there. And if touching paddle is the light blue, I'm going to bring this touching mouse pointer. It's the very top one under sensing. And there's a drop-down menu. Super important. Make sure to click on your drop-down menu and then go to paddle or whatever sprite, whatever your sprite's called. Make sure you switch it to whatever the proper sprite is that is working as your paddle. If you brought in your own custom one, it'll have a different name unless you renamed it. Next, we're going to turn it 180 degrees under motion. So we'll go turn. There's 15 degrees. Here's 180 degrees. And then we are going to move 10 steps and we're going to change that to 15. And then last thing is wait 0.5 seconds. Well, what did all of this do? Turning the ball around 180 degrees, that means when it hits the paddle, it's going to bounce away the opposite direction. The move 15 seconds and wait, move 15 steps, I should say, and wait 0.5 seconds is to keep the ball from glitching. If it hits the side of the paddle, it would be a problem. So right now it's passing through. Let me hit the green flag, check our coding, and there it goes. You see, if I hit the ball, I'm not sure if I can do it, and then like try and trap it, if I didn't have, oh yeah, like that. You see the ball passed back through the paddle? That's because I can only hit it once every 0.5 seconds. So it prevents the game from glitching out. That's what those last two lines do. Next thing, we're going to add a score. We'll go to our variables. We're going to make a variable, and we're going to call it score. We'll make it for all sprites. Hit OK. Variables is the dark orange one down here. And for the next few steps, choosing the score menu, insert the change score block, resetting the score, here's all we need to do. We're going to come in here to we're on our ball right now in the coding, and I'm going to set my variable to 0 after the green flag has been clicked. And that means my score will always click back to 0 when the game restarts. Otherwise, if your score was 5 at the end of your game, it'll be 5 at the beginning of your next game. So we want our score to reset. We're also going to change our variable anytime the ball touches the paddle. So if touching paddle, then change my variable by 1. And so we can come in here, we hit the green flag, and it's not working. Here's why. We created a variable called score, but these ones were set to the original default one called my variable. Super common mistake. So what you need to do is click on those and bring it down to that drop-down menu to score. All right. Now we're in shape. Look at that. We have a score, but there's no way to lose the game yet. So the last thing we're going to need to do is create a losing condition. So we need to add a line sprite. We're going to add a third sprite. We'll go choose a sprite, and I'm just going to look for one called line. Click on line. Drag this down. And anytime that our ball touches that line, we want the game to stop. And so we're going to code that in. So in here, we have events. When green flag is clicked, then control, forever. And then if then, then blank. If touching ball. So under sensing, we have that touching mouse pointer. That's the correct one. You'll notice I can't drop it in if it's the right side of it touching. It has to be the left side of this block touching, and it snaps in. So we'll go ball. And then last thing, if they do, so if this line touches the ball, then under control, we have a block called stop all, and that just ends everything. Okay, let's test it out. We have green flag clicked, and the game ends. So we can now work on this. So now we have the basic framework for a Pong game. Beyond that, we could always go ahead and enhance it, spruce it up, add music, background, fine-tune any glitches and things like that. But for now, this is the absolute basic tutorial that Scratch provides. All right, well done.